Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's build, instead of starting from scratch and doing like an actual build, we are doing a renovation. And we are in the world of San Myshuno. We are working on, I believe it's 28 Jasmine suites. I hadn't really played too much in San Myshuno yet, and I was kind of looking through some of the apartments, and I figured apartment renovations would be nice in the sense of like I can have a break when it comes to landscaping because there's no outside to decorate. It'll just be kind of fun and probably honestly a lot faster. I feel like a lot of the times when I do my builds, it's time consuming to do the landscaping. So I had a lot of fun with this. What I was going for was kind of, I don't want to say like boring or bland apartment, but I often clutter up my builds a lot, and I often decorate and kind of furnish how I think it would look good, which only makes sense. But not everyone's gonna have the same style, you know what I mean? Especially when you live in an apartment, unless you own the apartment, you're not. The only time you can really change the way an apartment truly looks is when you own it. And even in game, you don't own it, you're renting it. So I figure, a sim that has, say really cute aesthetic can have like kind of an ugly kitchen. So I was just kind of going for a very basic kitchen. I was going for basic wallpapers and things like that. And then honestly, I think I just kind of lost motivation in making this apartment super cute. So it ends up being very basic, very simple. Like I said, there's not much clutter, and I am kind of kicking myself over this. I barely decorated the walls, and when we get to the master bedroom, it's pretty drab, I'm not gonna lie. I know I said it's not super boring and bland, but the master bedroom is, and I didn't realize until I was taking screenshots, but at that point I was like, I don't even want to decorate it anymore. Like, I'm so over it. So I'm aware that the master bedroom is pretty awful, but not everyone really wants a super decorated, cluttered up house. So this build goes out to those of you that are that way, that don't want there to be a ton of decor, a ton of clutter. This would be a perfect download for you if you have the City Living pack. And also, this is a limited pack build, which I didn't realize until just now as I'm doing this voiceover. So at first I was definitely going for base game only, but then I was like, well, you have to have City Living in order to download this room because apartments and The Sims are rooms. And so I was like, it only makes sense to at least be able to use some City Living items too. So it's base game and City Living only, which it just makes it more accessible to that many more people. Back in the day, when I say back in the day, I literally mean like even a year ago, I didn't have as many packs as I do now. And I still don't have all of the packs. There's just some that I'm like, I don't really care to have that pack. Like vampires, I don't think I'll ever download that. Like, unless it's like having some crazy sale and there's some items in there that I'm like, ooh, that would be perfect for cluttering or decor. I don't ever see myself downloading vampires. So but before I would have to kind of be more limited on, whose builds I could download because, I'd download someone's build and it would have all these debug items in there because those aren't items that I have or whatever. So I wanted to make it more accessible to everyone, I guess. But here we are just cluttering up the kitchen just a tad, nothing too crazy. Again, like I said, I didn't want to clutter it up too much, but I do end up making there be a bedroom for a child sim here. So there is a bunk bed in the bedroom, but you don't need to have, two sims living here or two child sims living here. And I don't know, I feel like when I was growing up, I would have friends that had bunk beds and they would literally be like the only one in their bedroom. You know, it's just fun when you're a kid to have a bunk bed, you know, even if you aren't sharing a room with a sibling. So you could fit up to 4 Sims in this house, but you can also just have 2 Sims living here, you know, 1 parent and 1 kid living here. The room for the child is pretty girly. It's very pink. Again, like I said, I place bunk beds. So for 2 Sims, 2 child Sims, it would be kind of tight and a little cramped in there, but I felt like it just kind of went with the whole apartment. You know what I mean? Like, not all apartments are super spacious. I've lived in an apartment myself. I've actually lived in a few apartments myself. And the first one I lived in was a studio, and it was very, very, very tiny. I lived there with my boyfriend, and it was just way too small, even for 2 people. It was insane. And then we moved into a bigger place, and it just felt so big compared to our studio. But it's still, in all reality, it wasn't that big, but to us it was big. So maybe to this family, it's a decent place, you know? I don't know. Now that I'm thinking of it, the master bedroom is a decent size considering the kids' bedroom is so small. I probably could have done something different with the floor plan there. And I will be honest, I wasn't like super crazy and sold on this floor plan. The bathroom ends up being extremely small too. And realistically, you know, your Sims don't need storage and things like that. But I always try to make my builds as realistic as possible. And when I've lived in apartments, and I know in the future when I buy a house or, you know, move somewhere else, one of the big factors for me is like, is there enough storage space? You know, is there at least a linen closet? Things like that. You know, you just have to think about storage. And especially when you're living in an apartment, you don't have much space. You know, you don't have a garage, you don't have an attic, you don't have any space. So that's one thing I wish maybe I would have done slightly different, is maybe try to portion out the room sizes a little bit better. But honestly, it ends up all working out just fine. Here we're moving on to the master bedroom, which again, not super crazy about, but I do like how the walls in here match. I think they kind of match the pillows in here. The pillows are definitely more of a green color, and the walls are definitely more of like a baby or like sky blue, I guess. But I think it looks pretty good. I don't think I put a single picture frame up in this bedroom. So that's another thing, not one thing. I've already been like talking about things that I would change about this build basically since the beginning, but that's something I would change. Okay, there's one picture frame, but this other wall over here is so plain. And I end up switching out the mirror for a TV because now your Sims can sit in bed and watch TV, which is so dope. Okay, so I talked through this entire build. I mean, there really wasn't much to say. It's an apartment. You saw it. It's pretty simple. It's perfect for a family with 2 Sims, you know, with 2 children Sims, I mean. So you can fit up to 4 Sims here. So now that we're getting up on the screenshots, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications so you are aware of when I post future builds. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in a future build. Bye! Fun fact, I have wired headphones for when I do my voiceovers, and one of them just landed into my chai tea, so that's how we're starting off this Monday.